All right, so real quick, jumping into some things real quick that we're seeing. First off, some people who did not show up yesterday. We had McClain, who didn't show up yesterday, who wasn't able to come out yesterday. And I'm going to be honest with you, McClain has not showed up to OTAs thus far, period. So, I mean, in my opinion, I think he's probably going to be a no-show for OTAs. You know what I'm saying? Forgive my man cave. But I think he's definitely going to be a no-show for the rest of OTAs. Like I said earlier in some of my other videos, he's having family issues. So, you know, whatever. And then yesterday, our new tight end, Rico Gathers, he wasn't able to make it out to practice also yesterday. He had some school stuff that he had to take care of. I'm going to be honest with you. You know, I think it's noble that he's finishing up school. And, you know, I think that's, you know, I think it's very, very noble. But the only thing that I would say about Gathers is this, right? If you're really going to take the chance of switching all the way from football to switching from basketball to football, and you haven't played football in almost maybe like, I think they said since he was like in 7th grade, you would think that he would take every opportunity he can absolutely get to be on the field, you know, and to get those types of reps. So to hear, you know, I mean, I'm not, you know, for my college students out there, I don't want nobody to think that I'm not against it, but I just think it's kind of odd, you know, that he would take, you know, time out of OTAs. You know, I would think that he'd be able to set up some type of, you know, online or whatever, you know, whatever it is. But, you know, but other than that, but on the real, Cowboys really like him. You know, I know a lot of people out there are wondering, like, is this guy going to make the 53? To be honest with you, I really don't know if he's going to make the 53, but I know this, they're not going to let him out the building. You know, the dude has, like, ridiculous hands. Like, his hands are like this. If I was doing a scouting report, I'd say his hands is like this. Like, he has really, really big hands. You know, he has a really, really strong work ethic. You got to remember, man, when this dude was in college at Baylor, this dude led the nation, or he was like top 5 in rebounds, and he was like top 5 in blocks. So, I mean, that says a lot. You know, that really says a lot. One, the rebound says that he's one to go up there. He's not passive, right? He's not a passive player. If we're just looking at him from a scouting as far as basketball. Hold on real quick. You already know. But if I was just scouting him just as far as a basketball aspect, you got to remember this dude has huge hands. You know, a guy who gets a lot of rebounds, that says a lot about him. It also tells me that when this guy sees the ball, he's going to aggressively go after it. Because anybody who's getting a lot of rebounds, they're not sitting on the back, they're not sitting in the paint, you know, waiting for the ball to come down. They're not doing that. They're aggressively going after the basketball. So, I mean, if he's able to take, and I think he will, if Rico Gathers takes that same trait into football, I mean, a lot of guys have transition. Now, you know, you gotta everybody, as soon as you hear a Rico Gathers, the first person that comes to your mind is Antonio Gates. But I mean, you gotta remember this, right? This dude's picked in the 6th round, hasn't played football in a very, very long time. If this guy can, at the end of the day, be like a James, like a Hanna, or a little bit better than an Escobar, I think that's a 100% win. I mean, before we put like these ridiculous expectations on him, like, let's just let him hit the field. But I know today, he took they were in 7-on-7s, and he took a seam route to the house, you know, so that was pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Tony Romo laid it in there, and you know, from everything. I mean, it sucks that they don't let you videotape nothing right now, but, you know, everything I read, you know, is a little seam route, and, it's fun. It's so funny because they will not release, because you know, if it's a seam route, that means coming up the middle. That means he's splitting the safeties, right? They will not say who the play was on, and I think that's just so funny. You know, I think that's just so funny. But that's neither here or there. But, you know, it was really nice to hear about him being at practice today. I guess the no-show thing was just yesterday. So, I mean, it was really good to see him back at practice today. And, you know, that's good. But the Cowboys really, really like him. Who else wasn't on there? Who else wasn't at practice today? I mean, yesterday. I'm a day behind because you got to remember, in Cowboys world, like in the NFL, everything is a day behind because like Monday is like a day that doesn't even exist since they play Sunday. You know what I'm saying? So Monday is that day doesn't even exist to the Cowboys. So Tuesday is really like their Monday. So whenever I speak, I'm always speaking a 1 day behind. All right. So Jack Crawford, he had an issue with his visa. which is kind of funny, you know what I'm saying? Because you think these guys are multimillionaires, so you would think that, you know, he would have an attorney or he'd have some guy that just goes down and writes his name down and, you know, takes a couple bucks and he's done. But for whatever reason, Jack Crawford, you know, he had to actually take care of it himself, and he took care of it in London, which is kind of crazy too, because I thought he was from Canada. But whatever. But as far as that was the no-show. That was actually people that were actually not at practice. Now the people who they were at practice, but they did not participate. We have OS. You already know Standard didn't participate. He's not really going to participate, in my opinion. I don't think we're really not going to see anything from him probably until like preseason time. I mean, in my opinion, I think the longer the Cowboys have him outside, and just kind of, getting his main drills and things like that, I think it'll be beneficial for him. I don't think there's really I think we have so many needs in the in the corner position that it actually benefits the Cowboys to kind of have him sit on the side. We already know your talent level. And then we can have, the opportunity for these younger guys, like I'm not gonna say Claiborne or Carr, because them dudes are old. They have opportunities. They just gotta play better. You know what I'm saying? But we have better guys like Anthony Brown, the guy out of Purdue, who if you know my videos, you know that guy is ridiculously fast. So I mean, that was I think it works out good for the Cowboys. Dunbar. He did not. He was at practice. If you're on the page already, you can actually see I had some pictures of him and Dez. They were walking to the. Oh my God, I know this. They were walking to the training room, because I recognized they were walking to the training room, but to go lift weights and stuff, But it was crazy because Dunbar had cleats on. You know what I'm saying? And I noticed that. So when I tore my ACL. And I had to go through surgery. It was a minute before I was in cleats. It was a minute before I was out there again. So to see him in cleats, that was kind of like, that kind of stuck out to me. So I'm gonna be honest with you, the Cowboys got something up their sleeve. They got something up their sleeve when it comes to Dunbar and these running backs. They got something up their sleeve. I don't know what it is, but I do believe the Cowboys have something up their sleeve when it comes to Dunbar. But he did not participate today. Barry Church, he also did not participate. Remember, he broke his arm. I think it was against the Redskins, tackling some random guy on a random play and broke his arm. So he did not participate. Sean Lee also, there is no alarm, but Sean Lee did not participate also. I don't know if you guys know, but Sean Lee got his knee scoped. Basically it's when they just go into your knee and just like remove some old, some dead cartilage and stuff that builds up into your knee and stuff like that, Now, the only tricky thing about it is the Cowboys, honestly, they openly admitted today that they did not think that it wasn't going to lead into OTAs. But it has led into OTAs. People ask me, do I think that's going to affect him this season? Honestly, I don't think it is, because anytime a scope on your knee, that's 100% it is a surgery. But that's more of a proactive surgery. Like you do that to be proactive, to get in front of an injury. You know what I'm saying? So to hear something like that, obviously it sucks. But I mean, to keep it real, man, Sean Lee don't need to show me nothing. Like, honestly, him just being out there on the field and him just, being the vocal leader that he is and just leading by example. I mean, to be honest with you, that's enough. It comes times like this where you're able to trust, like, Sean Lee has good work ethic. You know what I'm saying? No matter if he was a linebacker or he was a guy at Vons, he has good work ethic. So I can 100% believe that when Sean Lee comes into OTAs and gets in season, that he's going to be prepared and he's going to be the beast that he always is. He brings it, man. Sometimes he just brings it a little too reckless, man. You can't drive it like it's a rental, man. You only get one body. All right. Escobar did not participate. He's still recovering from his injury from last year too. I think the Cowboys, I don't know, I think this is a make or break year for him, because I mean, the fact we drafted him out, I think it was out of San Diego State, and I think we took him in the 4th round, and it was a 3rd round, and anybody that gets drafted in those top 100 picks, man, we're expecting for you to contribute to this team, man. We're not necessarily meaning that you don't have to be Dez. We're not saying that. But you have to be able to contribute to this team. Like, if you're a top 100 pick, you have to. You know what I'm saying? That's just the basis. You know what I'm saying? Now, last but not least, Dez Bryant. All right, now, Dez was at practice today, and he was at practice yesterday. I'm going to be honest with you. Dez coming to practice has never been an issue. And I'm going to tell you, anybody who may say to you that Dez had a problem with coming to practice, you tell him to talk to me. Because Dez has never had a problem coming to practice. That dude loves practice. One thing about Dez is, man, he has to understand, same thing with Sean Lee, man. You can't drive it like it's a rental, man. You only get one body. With Dez, I think his biggest thing right now is just trying to, he's I love his enthusiasm. I love his approach to the game. I love the way he's eager, man. He's eager. He's eager to get out there, man. I'm pretty sure Dez wishes the season could start today. You know what I'm saying? And one thing I like about Dez that I'm seeing right now is the dude look like he in shape. Like, he looks a lot better than he did last year. Last year he looked like he was looking for that money, and this year he looked like he looking for something. Dez looks noticeably, solid. And when you look at my pictures, look at him right here. Like, he looks noticeably solid. So kudos on him, on his strength and conditioning. That really lets me know that Dez is really trying to take his game to the next level. He's understanding that, hey, man, I'm going to be making a lot of contact across the middle. That's why they're pushing T. Will to be that second receiver. Why? So they can only use Dez across the middle and across the end zone. You know what I mean? But, most importantly, Dez was at practice. He's pretty much just doing individual drills. That would mean hand drills. I wouldn't assume. The dude had a broken foot, so I don't think he's out there really running routes. He was out there making jokes and stuff with the coach last week, and lost a bet and had to do a bunch of pickups. But most importantly, man, Dez's morale. Dez feels like he's Dez again, and that's what I love. Anytime when I'm hearing reports about them having to tell Dez, the man, just chill out, sit down, relax, man. That reminds me of, Dez from 2013, 2014, when he was just eager to take the field. And when he took the field with a beast mentality, man. And I love it, man. I love it. He's gonna be a beast this year. All right, so pretty much that's how it went down in camp today. Now to get into a few things. That were noticeably. I want to talk about this offensive line because as much as we love our offensive line, there's some drama on that offensive line. But you know what? Out of respect, I'm gonna get to a question real quick. McClain was at practice. I just got on. McClain was not at practice. McClain has not been at practice. McClain had a family issue for the second time in a row. Remember last year his house caught on fire? I'm going to be honest with you. My heart stopped for a minute. But he was cool. This year, I don't know what it is, but I'm just saying, right? I have kids, right? My daughter, when I tell my little lady, I said, baby, it's time to go to bed, right? Every time it's time to go to bed, she want to get a bottle, she want to get her something to drink. Then all of a sudden she hungry. All this other stuff that never took place 15 minutes before I said it's time to go to bed. You know what I mean? McClain is the same way. Like, he's always open and ready and present when season comes, when activities comes. But as soon as OTAs come, family issues. And I'm going to be honest with you, man. I know people say that OTAs are not mandatory. Man, that's baloney. That's baloney. I'm a person in management for a company that I work for, and we have conversations and stuff like that all the time, and I understand that, hey, those conversations are probably more important than the official meetings. Because that's when continuity, that's when that team mentality is built. You know what I'm saying? That's why military and I'm prime military myself, but that's why some of the friendships that I have with guys in the military are so strong and just so unbreakable, is because we went through a trust and fire and we all volunteered for it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what OTAs is. Like, OTAs, you are volunteering for your coach to kick your butt. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that you guys all go through it together, that is what, you know what I mean? That's what builds you guys together. That's what brings you together. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have the little skibby scabbles and fights. I'm going to be honest with you, man. Anybody that say that they don't have fights at OTAs and at mini camps, man, I'm going to be honest with you, no offense, but you probably haven't played big level football, because I'm going to be honest with you, at every level of the game that I've ever played at, there has been fights at football. I mean, in OTAs, or there's been fights in the summer. The number one reason is because it's hot. It's hot in a mug, and then someone has their foot in your butt. Like, you know what I'm saying? They are really on your head. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, when you hear about fights and scuffles and all that other stuff, man, don't worry about that stuff. That stuff literally means nothing. If anything, it just means that they're really, really out there getting after it. How about Zeke? Everything I've heard from Zeke has been good. I know that, oh yeah, I apologize. McFadden was not at practice also. He was at practice yesterday, but he wasn't at practice today. He had a family issue too. Now, McFadden is a grown man. You know what I'm saying? He's a grown man with grown man responsibility. So if he had family issues, we will 100% trust that he had family issues, and or something he had to actually take care of. You know what I'm saying? So we ain't gonna, you know what I mean, we'll shut that down right now. But, you know, it worked out good, though, because Zeke was able to get the first team reps. And, you know, man, you know, young man gonna eat, man. He gonna eat. I definitely believe he's gonna eat. And just, you know, it's funny because every single day that we get closer to the season, I want to keep McFadden even more. Because I just be thinking, man, like, great, you know, McFadden in his own right, you know, I just think he doesn't have the opportunities. But I mean, as far as how he's handled everything and what he's done, man, he is mentally he is a great player, right? Now, if you can instill what McFadden has up here into Zeke, man, you have a Hall of Famer, because Zeke is gonna bring it on the field. And even in the days where he can't get loose, man, that's why you got them 5 big goons in the front. You know what I mean? I call them the Great Wall of Protection. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's when they get loose, and that's when they get nasty. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm very eager. They're going to have to, I want to see Lyle Collins and Zeke race one day, because I'm just so eager to see him on a stretch play. And I saw remember how he did with McFadden. I mean, he was gone. Now imagine Zeke. Oh my God, it's going to be nasty. You know, it's going to be nasty. But I mean, in my opinion, you know, each and every day that we get closer to the season open, each and every day I get closer to wanting to keep McFadden. I love the Dallas Cowboys too. Does it look like Romo has a preferred running back, or do you go into OTAs? I'm going to be honest with you. Tony Romo's number one running back is this. I'm going to tell you. Tony Romo's number one choice at running back is the one who picks up pass protection the best. That's at the end of the day, that's what it's going to come down for Tony Romo. Because you got to think of this, you know, if you can't get off the line, then, you know, I mean, he's handing the ball off, he's out of the play. You know, the running back that Tony Romo is going to love is the one that is going to pass protect the best. And from what I hear and from what I've seen, you know, Zeke, if you go back and you look at the Oregon game versus the Oregon game, it wasn't last year, it was 2 years ago, the Oregon game, where it was Cordell Jones was the quarterback. There's a play right, where Cordell Jones is throwing inside the end zone, right? And literally the play just goes to blue. The play just gets destroyed. But Zeke does this nasty chip block coming off the side, which gives Cordell Patterson just enough time, I'm going to be honest with you, I think he's going to be a pretty decent quarterback in this league. But it gives him enough time to step up in the pass, up into the protection, and zip a nasty play out, and zip a nasty pass out. So, I mean, that's when I think of Zeke, and when I think of pass protection, that's what I think of. Did y'all see the Cowboys have the number one offensive line for the 2016? Absolutely. 100%. Our offensive line is going to get tested this year, man. I'm going to be honest with you. The Giants, you know, they paid, $210 million to make sure, you know, that we're tested. And, you know, we're hearing little things about GH maybe want to go to the Eagles. I'm going to be honest with you. I have no problem with anybody who don't like us going to the Eagles, because whenever they go to the Eagles, it never works out. So if you want to go burn a year off your career, that's how I feel on that whole subject. All right. So, do I have any questions else? But honestly, that's what it's going to come down to. Tony Romo. Tony Romo is going to love it. He's going to love the whatever running back picks up that block the best. What happens to Collins? Did he really break his foot? Yeah, man. He really did break his foot. He broke his foot last week. And it's funny how he broke his foot last week, but we're not hearing about it this week. So if he broke his foot last week and we're not hearing about it this week, it's his foot is really broke. Because that means he broke it last week and the Cowboys got an opinion. Then they probably got another opinion, because you got to remember the holiday was Monday. So they probably waited to yesterday to get another opinion. And then they was like, yep, his foot is broke. But the nice part about it is, I think they're saying, they haven't really released anything on it, but they're pretty much saying that he's only going to be out for I think like 12 weeks or something like that, which is only like 3 months. So they're expecting him to only really miss like maybe one game. But the only thing that sucks, man, is it really hurts. I don't even think it 100% hurts his development, because, you know, as a rookie, you want to be on the field. Now he's not going to be on the field, but I mean, he'll just have to learn that game from a different aspect. So when he hits the field, man, he's going to have to really have picked up that defense, pretty quickly, so that he can kind of compensate that for the amount of time he's been off the field. You know what I mean? Make sure I haven't missed no more questions. Nope. McClain is not going to be at practice. I can almost bet he's not going to be at practice probably till like when preseason start. No, I'm playing. He'll be in practice when they hit mandatory OTAs. He'll be there, because when they hit mandatory OTAs, man, they pretty much have your bank account in their hand. So if you don't be at mandatory OTAs, they will be taxing you. So he'll be there, and I think they'll start June 17th. So we'll see him around that time. Who do you think will be the backup quarterback, or will the Cowboys carry all three? In my opinion, if you've seen some of my other videos, I think, obviously you're going to have Tony Romo at 1. Now, this is after my I'm going to keep it real with you. My whole little I guess you would say little idea, or my whole little thought of what I thought the Cowboys were going to do kind of got blew up today when Scott Linehan, if you're on the page, make sure you watch the Scott Linehan. A lot of times you got to watch the videos before I do the live, because it kind of keeps you up to date. It's kind of like the Harry Potter books. You got to read the book, then watch the movie, you know what I mean? But it's if you really look at it, Tony Romo's going to be your number 1. Your number 2 is unknown, in my opinion. The 3, in my opinion, right now, hold on, pen is getting messed up. In my opinion, right now, is that, right? Now, going in before today, I always said that it was going to be Tony Romo, and honestly, I said Showers, and in that, I always looked at Moore as not making the cut on this team. Why? Because Armstrong is not the best. Anytime, I'm just saying, man, anytime that someone is talking about you, and the only positive thing they can talk to you as far as speaking you up to the media is college games. Like, this is a dude who's been in the NFL almost 3 years now, and he still has not, come out of that shell of what he did in college. It starts with winning some games too. But after seeing, if you go and you watch the video that I put up right now, Scott Linehan, and how he was talking about how he feels about Showers and how he feels about Moore. The video I think is like 7.5 minutes. He spent a whole minute and a half talking about Showers and his development, but he spent 6 minutes, almost 5.5 minutes, talking about Moore. Now you got to remember, Scott Linehan is our offensive coordinator. Our offensive coordinator is the guy who calls the plays. As much as y'all be getting mad at not at Tony Romo, but at Jason Garrett does not call any plays. So with that, Scott Linehan, since he is the guy that's actually calling the plays, he's really the guy that's calling the offense. So you would think that the guy who's calling the offense would have the quarterback that he would need and the quarterback that he would want. So, after today, what I would honestly say, I would say that it's going to be Tony Romo. I legitimately think that Moore is going to keep that spot, and Dak is going to be the third, and then we're going to take a chance at putting Showers out there on waivers. That's what I honestly see, because I'm gonna be honest with you, like Scott Linehan is so sold on Moore that it's almost like and being a scout, I try to be as unbiased as possible, but it's very easy to pick up when someone really prefers someone over someone else. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna be honest with you, like, I don't see why Showers didn't get an opportunity last year. Like, I don't see why he didn't get an opportunity last year to throw some games. So, and I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. I don't think they put him on waivers and he makes it past waivers too. So, that, in my opinion, I think it's gonna be Tony Romo. I think it's gonna be Moore, and it's gonna be Dak. Now, hopefully they're looking at Moore as kind of like a long-term thing, but you can't have two long-term things behind, no offense, because I love my quarterback, but you can't have two long-term things behind Tony Romo, because if he does get hurt, which is not his fault, let's take a minute and let that sit in. When Tony Romo gets hurt, it's not his fault. You don't want a guy who you're projecting to start 2 years from now having to come in right now. You don't want that. So I think the Cowboys, I think that's part of the reason why we're keeping on this, like a Leary, and why we're holding on to so many of these running backs, because I think they're kind of putting themselves in a position where if something was to happen down the road, they may be able to trade for something. But in my opinion, I don't like that. I don't like that. The quarterback position is too vital of a position just to be bringing any old dude in. You know what I'm saying? That's the leader of your team. You know what I'm saying? You just don't trade for some random dude and bring him in and have him lead your team. I hate that, man. I hate quarterbacks coming in the middle of your season. I believe every quarterback should have an opportunity to go through OTAs, because if not, you're not getting a fair advantage. You're not getting a fair advantage. All right. Do you think Zeke will start at running back this year? Absolutely. Absolutely. That dude's making $24 million. That's the number we're gonna. He's making $24 million, and I'm gonna be honest with you, he's the best running back, and he was the best running back in this class. So you put the best running back with this class, with the best offensive line, with Tony Romo, who should have been the MVP in 2014. I think he's gonna have an explosive season. I just think the Cowboys are gonna have to. I think they're gonna get to a point maybe where they, when the button just gets so good, you just keep on pushing it. They just keep on pushing it. That play just keep on good. You just keep on pushing it. I think that's where the Cowboys are gonna make sure that they don't get where it's just like, hey, Zeke has the game as well in hand. Do we still need to run him? Do we still need to run him? I think if the Cowboys manage that, I think they're going to be fine. But I'm going to come right back. I'm going to go grab something to drink real quick, check on some things. But as always, stars up.